This is you. Your journey starts now. You're 17 years old the first time someone hands you an envelope and tells you not to open it. You don't ask questions. That's the first lesson, and nobody teaches it to you directly. You just feel it in the way the man looks at you when he hands it over. The slight pause. The weight of his eyes. You pocket the envelope, walk 6 blocks to a barber shop on Delancey Street, hand it to a man behind the counter who never looks up from the hair he's cutting, and you walk back. That's it. That's the job. You get $40. You spend 32 of it on dinner for your mother and your younger sister. You tell them you ran deliveries for a restaurant. Your mother doesn't ask which one. Level 1, associate. You're nobody. That is not an insult. It is a technical designation. An associate has no rank, no protection, no real name inside the organization. You are a set of hands attached to a level of desperation that makes you useful. There are maybe 40 guys doing exactly what you're doing within a 2-mile radius of your apartment. Most of them will never move up. A few will disappear. You don't know which category you're in yet. Your days have a rhythm that sounds almost normal from the outside. You wake up around 10. You spend the first hour of your day waiting for a phone call that may or may not come. When it does, it's a short sentence. An address. A time. Sometimes a name. You write nothing down. You go where you're told. You carry what you're given. You return the money, every dollar, and you do not count it in front of anyone. The cold is something nobody mentions. You stand outside storefronts in February for 3 hours at a time. Your coat isn't heavy enough. You don't complain because there's nobody to complain to. The man above you has a name you know, Tony, but you don't address him unless he addresses you first. You've said 11 words to him in 4 months. You make between $200 and $400 a week, depending on the week. It is not consistent. That inconsistency is intentional. You learn this later. You are learning the shape of the organization without anyone drawing you a map. You learn it the way you learn the layout of a dark room, by walking into things. Level 2, street soldier. 18 months in, Tony tells you to show up on Thursday with clean clothes. You don't know what that means until you're sitting in a back room above a dry cleaning business, across from 3 men you've never seen, and one of them talks to you for 20 minutes about loyalty and family. He uses those 2 words more than any others. The conversation ends. Someone shakes your hand. You walk out a made member of a crew. A soldier. The ceremony is quieter than you imagined. There is no ceremony, really. Just a room, a conversation, and the understanding that something has changed permanently. Now you have a corner. Not physically. Conceptually, a territory, a set of businesses that pay you through a chain of intermediaries, a portion of what they earn in exchange for your organization's protection. You don't collect personally. Not yet, but you're a part of the system that makes collection possible. Your presence, your name, your affiliation, these are the product. You earn around $1,800 a week at peak. Some of that gets kicked up. You keep the rest in cash in a shoebox in your closet because you have no legitimate income and no bank account that can absorb it cleanly. Your girlfriend asks you what you do. You tell her you're in logistics. She knows that's not true. She doesn't push. That arrangement, her not pushing, you not explaining, becomes the foundation of your relationship. It is quieter than love. It holds for a while. You are 20 years old. You feel for the first time like you are somebody. Level 3. Capo. You're 26 when you're given a crew. 7 men. A territory covering 14 blocks of commercial and residential real estate. A monthly expectation, not a goal, an expectation of $60,000 flowing upward. What you generate above, that is yours to distribute as you see fit. Leadership is, in this way, a franchise model. The work changes. You no longer stand on corners. You sit in booths at the back of restaurants. You take calls at odd hours. You make decisions about people, their assignments, their debts, their consequences, the way a mid-level manager at a company might allocate resources. Efficiently, without excessive emotion. Emotion, you've learned, is expensive. One of your men is skimming. Not much, maybe $300 a week, but you know, and he knows you know, and the moment you let it continue without response, the number will grow and your authority will shrink. You handle it. You don't need to explain how. The problem stops. Your crew operates cleanly for the next 2 years. Your relationship ends quietly. She moves out on a Tuesday while you're at a meeting. She leaves a note that says she's not angry, just tired. The note is 4 sentences long. You read it twice, fold it, and put it in the shoebox that used to hold cash. You tell yourself you'll address the personal side of things once the business stabilizes. Business never stabilizes. That's the thing nobody tells you going in. Level 4, Underboss. You are 33. You manage 6 captains. You are 2 steps from the top of a structure that generates, conservatively, $40 million a year across its various operations. You know this number because you're now close enough to the finances to see the actual shape of things. It is larger and more ordinary than you expected. The organization is not a secret empire. It is a medium-sized business with serious cash flow problems, constant personnel issues, regulatory threats it manages through relationships rather than compliance, and a leadership succession problem that nobody discusses openly. It runs on reputation more than power. The reputation is maintained through occasional, precise demonstrations that remind people what the alternative to cooperation looks like. You sit in rooms where those demonstrations are decided. You offer opinions. Sometimes they're taken. Sometimes they're not. You've learned not to push when you're overruled. You've learned to read the temperature of a room in under 30 seconds. These are skills that transfer nowhere. Your daughter is 7. She attends a private school in a suburb 40 minutes from the city. You drive her there on Sunday evenings and return Monday mornings. She draws pictures of the house she wants to live in someday. The house in her drawings always has a fence. You ask her why a fence. She says so nobody can get in. You don't say anything to that. Level 5, Boss. You become boss at 39 under circumstances that are complicated. The man before you didn't retire. Nobody retires cleanly at the top. He was removed, through legal pressure, through the careful rearrangement of loyalties, through a process that took 2 years of patient positioning that you executed without anyone asking you to. You recognize the opening and you move through it. That is ultimately how people reach the top of structures like this. Not through appointment, through readiness meeting circumstance. The first year is the loneliest year of your life. You are surrounded by people at all times. Drivers, advisors, captains seeking guidance, men who owe you money, loyalty, or both. Your house has 4 people in it besides yourself, and none of them speak to you the way people spoke to you when you were nobody. There's always a performance now, always a register to maintain. You cannot be uncertain in front of anyone. Uncertainty, at your level, costs more than money. You make decisions that affect hundreds of people, their incomes, their freedom, occasionally their lives, with the same deliberate calm you once used to decide which route to take to the barber shop on Delancey. That calm is not peace. It is practice. You have practiced it so long you can no longer feel the difference. The FBI has a file on you that is 460 pages long. You know this because a retired agent told you, through 3 layers of intermediary, that it exists. You also know they've been trying to build the final 15 pages for 11 years and haven't managed it yet. That's not reassurance. That's a countdown with an unknown end date. The realization. It happens on a Tuesday in the kitchen of a house you own under a shell company at 6:47 in the morning. You are reading a report about a distribution problem in one of your territories. The numbers don't add up. Someone is taking. You make a note. You will address it the way you always address it. And then, for exactly 1 moment, you see the full length of the corridor you've walked down since you were 17 years old with an envelope you weren't supposed to open. You see every decision, every accommodation. Every morning you told yourself this was a phase, a period, a temporary arrangement you'd exit when the conditions were right. The conditions were never right. You kept moving anyway. The thing that breaks is not dramatic. It's not a phone call or an arrest or confrontation. It's just the sudden, quiet knowledge that you have become exactly what the system needed you to become. Not who you planned to be. What the structure required. A function. An efficient, irreplaceable function. And right on time, the function's phone rings. You answer it. The exit. You're 51 when you step back. Not arrested. Not killed. Not retired in any clean sense. You simply make yourself less central over 18 months in a way that looks like delegation and functions like disappearance. You move the decision-making outward. You make yourself a figurehead, then a consultant, then an absence. The man who fills your position is 36. He was in your crew when he was 22. He has the same stillness you had at his age, the same patience, the same ability to read a room. You don't warn him. You move to a house outside the city. Your daughter visits twice a year. She has a fence now, a real one. You sit on her porch sometimes and watch her kids play in the yard, and you think about the envelope on Delancey Street, and you think about the $40, and you think about the shoebox. The organization continues without you. Smaller problems become larger problems, become the same problems again. New names move through the same positions. The structure absorbs them and reshapes them and moves forward, indifferent to the individuals inside it, the way all systems do. Somewhere right now, in a city you know well, a 17-year-old is holding an envelope he's been told not to open. He doesn't ask questions. He's already learning.